Hi, my name is Elina Boyd, and if you don't know me already, I run Elina from Sweden on Instagram. I have ankylosing spondylitis, and I get so many questions about this on Instagram mainly and through email and stuff, and I wanted to do this video to answer some of the most frequently asked questions, and hopefully this kind of longer form video can help you get a better understanding of like my explanation. So a lot of times when I do these kind of Q&A things on Instagram, my responses are very short, obviously. And so here I wanted to just dig a little bit deeper into into some of the most common questions I get, and I'm gonna try to give you some more deeper, longer answers. So the first question that I get asked a lot is when I was diagnosed and how. So I was diagnosed 10, 11, 12 years ago now, I think. I was probably 29 years old at that point. So I turned 40 this year, 2024. So so it's been like 11 years or something like that. I was super active back then, and I was a long distance runner. I would run 5 to 7 miles a day, and I did a lot of kickboxing and kind of just was really into all these high impact sports, if you will. And one day I woke up and my whole right side, like around my hip and down my leg and my back, was just on fire. And I could barely walk, and it was absolutely horrendous, the pain that I felt. And then I started noticing that my foot, like I was numb in my foot and I couldn't really walk properly. I started kind of drag my foot a little bit, and so then I was really, really scared. I thought I was gonna get paralyzed, and so I went to the doctor. So my doctor, I went to, I think, a primary care physician first, and then they referred me to I think I actually got referred to a rheumatologist right away, which I think is a little bit rare. But I got referred to a rheumatologist, and she ordered a bunch of MRIs and stuff. And I had 2 disc herniations in my low back, so L4, L5 and L5, S1. And I also had bone marrow edema in my SI joints, both of them. So that means I had like fluid in my joints. In my SI joints, which is a telltale sign usually of ankylosing spondylitis. So then they tested me for the gene HLA-B27, and I tested positive for that. And that's how they diagnosed me. So the MRI and then the blood work. And so from there I started in physical therapy. They actually wanted to put me on biologics right away. And sorry if you can see my dog here, he's eating his blanket. Don't eat that, Baba. Don't, nay. Where was I? Oh yes, right. So the rheumatologist that I had wanted to put me on biologics right away, and she said that if I don't get on biologics right away and stay on them for the rest of my life, I'm gonna have a progressive, it's a progressive disease. I'm gonna have irreversible joint damage. All these things, right? And I think I was 28 or 29 at the time. I was very into like health and holistic health and all this kind of stuff. And the thought of getting on biologics for the rest of my life, which basically suppresses your immune system and really messes with your body, just felt absolutely, I couldn't do it. So I didn't do that. And then I also didn't want surgery for my herniated discs. So I started on what I didn't know that it was going to be this long, but it took me about 3 years, I think, to get back to somewhat normal with my back. And then I was good for maybe a year or 2, and then I herniated my discs. Then I herniated my discs again in 2018. And so basically the past 10 years, I've had like 6 years where my back has just been absolutely horrendously painful from disc herniations and AS and all kinds of things. So anyway, that's kind of how I was diagnosed and when and the age and all that kind of stuff. So I hope that's helpful. The next question that I get a lot is if I am on biologics. And I am not on biologics right now, but I have been on Humira 2 times. The first time was back in, when was that? I think it was like 2018 or 2019 maybe. My second time that I had this, when I had herniated the discs, and it just like my whole spine was just like barbed wire. It was, I couldn't live. Like I couldn't sit, I could barely stand, I had a hard time walking. Basically the most comfortable position for me was just laying flat on my back. I had to, like every day I woke up, I was in so much pain, I couldn't really get out of bed immediately. I had to lay there for a moment and like let my body wake up gently. I had to jump into a hot shower the first thing I did because I couldn't really move in the mornings. It was awful. So anyway, I was in such bad shape, I could not even put stuff into the, you know, in the kitchen, you have the upper cabinets and the lower cabinets. I couldn't put things in the lower cabinets because I couldn't bend. I had such bad mobility. Like if I were to put something down there, I had to get down like upright, bend my knee, like get down on one knee and then the other knee and then kind of stand on my knees, put it in and then hold on to the counter and then get back up again. And I remember my husband he often talks about that now because now obviously I'm pretty flexible and I do handstands and all kinds of crazy things. And he's like, I remember when you could not even put stuff into the lower cabinets. So anyway, side note, but I was really in horrible shape. And I was like, I can't live like this. And so I reached out to my rheumatologist and I said, I want to get on the medication. So I got a new rheumatologist this time, same office, but it was a different rheumatologist. And he said, because I explained to him my reservations with this medication and I really am not comfortable being on it for the rest of my life, but right now I need to get my life back. And so he said that I could get on it, stay on it for a few months and then slowly kind of phase it out again and not be on it my whole life, but just be on it kind of as needed. And so I did that. I was on it for probably 6 months. It was super helpful. It gave me my life back. I wasn't 100%, but it really helped. So once I was feeling better, I got off of it again. And then I've been on it one more time and that was in 2020, I think, or 2021. My neck was really messed up and I got on it. It didn't really do anything that time, so I don't know if that was the AS or if it was maybe some sort of other injury or if just the Humira didn't do it for me that time. I'm not sure, but that's my story with Humira. I also get a lot of questions. What is your opinion on biologics? So my personal opinion is it's a great medication and it is there to help you if you need it. So I know a lot of people are scared of it. I was too. I didn't take it for like, what was it? I don't know how many years, 5 or 6 years that I just went in agony without it because I refused to take it until I was in such bad shape that I couldn't function anymore. I do believe that it's a really good medication that's available to us. And I think that you can be on it for the rest of your life, or maybe you try the way I did it and just get on and off of it as needed. Obviously, you have to talk to your doctor about that and see what's best for you and your specific situation. Yeah, but I think it's a great medication, and I think that obviously it's sometimes you need to trust Western medication, right? It can be really hard sometimes, especially if you're like a yogi or you care a lot about, you know, your body's own ability of healing itself and all this kind of stuff, and you don't want to pump it full of like poison, basically. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, right? So the next question I get a lot is about how I manage my AS without biologics. And for me, so it's a lot of trial and error. And again, I've lived with this now for 10 plus years. And so I've tried a thing or two, and obviously movement helps, right? And I always get questions, what kind of movement? What do you do for how long? It all depends. Like, it's different from day to day. Some days I feel super strong and really flexible and I can do anything. And then some days I'm just like a painful little ball just curled up, can hardly move, right? So I have good days and I have bad days. I have way more good days than bad days, however, so I'm thankful for that. As far as workouts, however, my thing is you have to find what works for you. So for me, I stopped the running, I stopped the kickboxing, I stopped all the high impact stuff because it does not feel good in my body. I've tried to get back to the running because it was like my biggest passion, but I can't. My body cannot handle it. I've tried it probably 5 times and it leaves me in so much pain. So it's just not, it's not happening for me, which is fine. I have instead focused on low impact things. So weightlifting, Pilates, yoga, obviously. I've done a lot of yoga. However, the last like year or so, I've actually pulled away a little bit from the yoga, and I've focused more on flexibility training and strength training, circus acrobatics kind of handstand training, which works better for me. However, I want to preface that with, I know other people with AS, they run, they do triathlons, like they do all these other things, right? So just see what feels good in your body, because what feels good for me might not feel good for you, and vice versa, okay? So just find something that you enjoy doing and that feels good. I think the key thing when you have AS is you have to keep moving. And I recommend a mix of strength and flexibility. So for me, if I only stretch, I get injured over and over and over again. I've tried it a million times. I like stretching, so that's all I want to do, but it doesn't work that way for me. I have to lift weights. I can't do, like yoga for me doesn't build any strength whatsoever. Like it doesn't, I don't know, it's not what I need. I need weights, I need dumbbells, I need machines, I need that extra weight. And for me, it's about activating, like I have a really hard time, like doing push-ups for me, I can't really, it's weird, I don't have the mind-body connection maybe, but it's not as effective for me as doing like a chest press with weight. Somehow the same thing with squats. Body weight squats for me are harder than heavy squats with weight, because I don't activate properly in my muscles, and I don't know why, if it's a nervous system issue or like a mind, like a brain thing where I have so much trauma from all the pain that I've been in and stuff. I'm not sure. But for me, weightlifting is the key. However, if I only weightlift, which I did the first few years, never stretched, that just makes everything worse as well. So you really have to do both. You have to do strength training, whatever you can do that feels good to you. Maybe you like Pilates, maybe you lift weights, maybe you do calisthenics, I don't know, whatever makes you feel stronger in your whole body, okay? And then flexibility, so whether that's yoga or flexibility training or like mobility work, whatever you enjoy and what feels good in your body, because it's also different and also individual, right, for everybody. But I would say strength and flexibility are key. I do some cardio on our Peloton. So just like, I don't know, I do maybe a 20-minute high intensity ride, maybe 3 times a week if I'm really ambitious, probably more like once a week. And then I try to walk a lot because I enjoy walking. So just find something that works, but try to really stay consistent with it. And I would also say that there's a lot of, depending on, your corner of Instagram and what you're watching and whatnot, but like for me, I always see all these yogis and whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, I just practice every single day, like 5 times a day, here and there, and in my kitchen, and this and that. Doesn't work for me. I cannot practice 10 minutes here and there. I have like 10 minutes, that's not even my warm-up. I have to warm up for a long time before even doing a yoga class, right? I have to like warm up my hands, my fingers, my wrists, my ankles, my neck, my shoulders, my spine. Like it's a whole process for me before I can actually go ahead and start working out. So for me, what I find works best, for me personally, is I do my workout and it's a proper workout. It might be an hour, might be 2 hours, might be 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is, but it's a workout, right? And it's a focused workout, and I don't dilly-dally. I just do it, and then I rest. I don't do anything else after that. And then I take more rest days as well. So lately I've been doing a lot more handstands and crazy back bends and stuff, and then I need more rest. So I might take 1 or 2, sometimes even 3 days off completely every week. I might still do some foam rolling, use the Theragun, maybe some light stretching, but I work better with dedicated workouts, like a longer, once a day type thing, and then take some days off and stuff. So find what works for you. Maybe you are more the 10 minutes, 5 times a day kind of person. If you have kids and stuff, maybe that works better for you. Then do that. Just find what works for you. Symptoms, where my symptoms are. Okay. I have most of my symptoms in my spine, my hips and my shoulders have been a little bit iffy as well, but that could just be all the handstands that I'm doing, I'm not sure. But definitely my spine and my hips. So my right hip especially, I think even I had a labral tear in there when I had my MRI 10 years ago, and I never got a follow-up from that because that was like the least of my problems. So, but I have something iffy going on in my right hip. But yeah, my spine, my low back and my neck especially, and my low back is really, you know, the arthritis and the degeneration, and like I don't have a lot of discs left. Well, I have discs left, but they're, you know, shrunk and they're dehydrated and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so my symptoms are mainly there. I also get some in my hands, and I've started to get some in my feet. I also have an issue with my right knee that I've had for probably 10 years. My hands though, it's hard because I do so many handstands and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's from the AS or if it's from just kind of overuse, right? But my feet have started to bother me a lot, which is very odd because I'm not doing anything to my feet, right? Like I'm not doing anything out of the ordinary there. So that's probably from the AS. And then my knee, I have a suspicion has to do with that as well. But mainly spine and hips. And knee and feet and hands. I don't have the eye thing from what I know. I do have some eye issues, but it's been a long time since I had the uveitis or whatever. And I don't know if that's what I had or just like eye inflammations or pink eye or whatever. But it's been a while. So I'm not sure, but that's, yeah. So spine and hips and some of the smaller joints are my main issues. And then last but not least, I always get the question of diet for AS. What do you eat? So this is also very different for everybody. So find what works for you. A couple of nutritional approaches, that seem to work for a lot of people. Number one, not in order by any means, but just a couple here that you can try for yourself. Mediterranean diet, lots of seafood, healthy fats, olive oil, avocados, vegetables, right? Mediterranean diet, vegan, some people heal from a vegan diet. Vegetarian, some people heal from a vegetarian diet. Carnivore, which is the opposite, you only eat meat. Some people have success with that. Low carb or no carb or a keto diet, so no sugar, no carbs, no starches. Very, very popular. Personally, starches don't bother me. Sugar bothers me. I love candy, so sometimes I'm like, I feel very bad from eating it, but you know what? It's kind of worth it to me. So, but starches don't seem to bother me that much. I eat bread and pasta and rice and all kinds of things. But again, very popular and seems to work really well for a lot of people. Yeah, and then you can try like anti-inflammatory, which is basically a mix of all those, right? So a lot of vegetables and avocados and nuts and salmon and things like that. So it's really, it's all across the board. It just depends on your body and also what you enjoy eaing. Oh, our fireplace is turning off. It does that automatically after like 8 hours. I have this thing going all winter. So it's really individual, the diet piece, right? And so you have to find something that you can stick with because that's the key, right? That you stay consistent with it. So I would maybe try a food diary. So see what you eat and then kind of monitor how you're feeling and then try to figure it out that way. For me, like I try to eat whole foods, right? So I try to not eat processed foods. I don't eat French fries. I don't drink sodas. I don't drink Starbucks Frappuccinos, right? I eat food that I cook. I eat bread that I make. I eat, a lot of vegetables. I eat eggs. I eat meat that we cook very simply, we just, pan fry it or bake it in the oven. Very simple foods without a lot of craziness to it, right? I don't eat McDonald's. I don't, I only drink water. I drink coffee in the morning. I drink herbal tea in the afternoon. And in between, I only drink water. Maybe the occasional kombucha, but no sodas, no like processed like crap, basically, excuse my French. I do eat candy though. That is my one vice that I am not willing to give up. So maybe you have stuff like that too. And even if it doesn't make you feel so good, you have to live too, right? So for me, candy is that thing. I love candy. It's my only vice. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't eat fast food, but I love candy. So anyway, I'm running out of battery on my camera now, so I'm gonna stop it here. But if you have any other questions, post them below. Make sure to connect with me on Instagram, Elina from Sweden. I'll put it down here as well. And hit subscribe and like this video if it was helpful. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you. So any comments or more questions, put them down below and maybe I'll do a follow-up video to this one. Have a good one. Bye.